Ooh, you didn't bring beverages for everyone? You didn't bring beverages for everyone? Me? It's okay. I'll be all right. I won't weep. Wait, I can't see the sound bar. Why is that? There we go. Okay, it sounds like, well, it looks like we have sound. And it looks like we have a chat bot. That's good. Do we have a magic 8 ball? She said the 8 ball, but it didn't come up and say something back. That's weird. Hello, Minute Craft or Minute Craft. It really bothers me that it's the same spelling. That just drives me insane. And Rainbow Haze, hello. And let's do this thing. Always have to squeeze my name a couple times. I just love that layout. That was like awesome. Let's do this. Hello and welcome. This is Kevin, also known as AWOL, and that is that was cool. I still to this day get a kick out of the whole intro portion of my show. Hopefully everybody is having a nice week. Let's see, hit the button here. Ooh, all right, because yeah, obviously we don't need that on screen. Um, Back after a week, and it seems like I have done so much. I don't know if you guys saw over on TikTok, I did a post where I showed that I was finally cutting the strings that got replaced, which that was a bit of a challenge. There's a lot of string back there, and got that all done. And now we are working with nice long string, which is always a plus. And we are at this level down here at the bottom. That's like a little bit more than 9.5 inches, which means we are crossing over the halfway point of the project, which is really exciting for me. Um, I love knowing that it's not going to be forever. After the big project kind of traumatized me, it's nice to know we're not going to be forever. So, um, that's good news. Let's see what else we got going on. We have the secret word game. I've been reminded, don't forget the secret word game. So yes, we have this. All you have to do is chat, and who knows what will be the thing that actually comes up. So the some magic word the robot knows, which he's been trained to not tell you. Um, did you guys get the magic 8 ball to work? It is working? Okay, cool. Because it seems every time I open up the program for that, every time I have to give it authorization to use. I have no idea what the heck that's about, but yeah. Yeah. That's a really good question. I wonder what the bot will say. And it seems like the 8 ball's like, nah, I don't think so. Well, it's hilarious. Um, well, if this is the halfway point, then we can extrapolate from the amount of time that it's taken me to get this far to how far long it would take me to get to the other half, supposedly. Well, I say that, but there was adding the strings in the first place, then replacing the strings to get to the halfway point. I only have to replace the strings once more to the time of being done. Yeah, there's a thing that says how frequently you're allowed to abuse the robot. I might have to change that to make it more frequent. Oh, oh, that's another new thing. We now can do that. We can just reach over, push a button, and then we have Mandy Cam. Is that not awesome? So this is a huge upgrade from where we were last week, where I had to like operate the mouse and try to do things and yeah. So now that's a thing. So we can go back to just us, and then we can bring back Mandy whenever the need arises. Yeah, bot abuse needs to be increased. Hello, Charity. Yeah, I'm not sure where the setting is if I have that open. Oh, I do. Hang on. A couple mouse clicks away. Let's see if we can do this one. Oh, default. Oh, okay, so we are. Why is it not saving? Saved. Oh, there it goes. All right. All right. So supposedly now you should be able to do the 8 ball to your heart's content. So a perpetual Mandycam? Ooh, that's something I hadn't really considered. I, I like how she looked around. Because there's a little bit of a lag, I can actually turn on the Mandycam and be actually putting her face up there before she even knows it's happened, because like I said, there's a little bit of time between me doing stuff and when you guys get to see it. So that's why sometimes when you guys ask a question, it may take a minute for me to actually catch it, because you guys are, it's a thing. I don't know how to explain it. The heavens point to yes. Oh my, that's who knows? He's he's was that the bot saying I'm not trying to hear that? Ah, that's cute. All right. Yeah, so I don't know if you guys do TikTok or not. And if you don't, I totally get why. It is completely one of those type of things where you are like, oh, I'll just check out, see if any notifications or anything. And next thing I know, 2 hours have passed and I've done nothing, um, except for learned how to cook an egg a whole different way that I never ever heard of before. Something stupid. But so yeah. But if you do have TikTok, add me, and yeah, because I kind of like to. I don't know. I kind of like the notion of maybe getting some likes over there. I'm trying. It's a different thing. I don't know what the heck I'm doing. I don't know how to get, you know, noticed or whatever. So yeah. Yeah, we had to. Okay, so Mandycam came with a microphone, and um, it would have given her the ability to talk or whatever. But our proximity makes it so that way it creates an echo effect, because that mic would actually pick me up here as well as picking me up over there. So yeah, unfortunately we can't do that. I'm not sure. Yeah, I can't imagine how we could create like a sound barrier between us. I mean, I can literally reach over and touch Mandy. She's that close to me. So, yeah, it's not a thing. Yeah, so there's a real tight time limit on TikTok. So I've seen like Masha Knott's trying to do a tutorial in 1 minute, and she's just like, and then and it's like, you know, honestly, just show us your work. Don't bother trying to do a tutorial in 60 seconds. It's not nice, it's not helpful. Nobody's gaining anything from it. Sure, they can watch it a couple dozen times and try to glean the information from it. See, I got touched it. Um, but honestly, just let people know where to go get a regular full length video. It doesn't make any sense. Not that I'm trying to call her out in particular. It just happens to be um something I noticed, something I actually watched. And it was just like that's anyway. So you can see I am working on two rows at once, and I'm kind of um my main purpose for doing this is to stay working in one area as opposed to, cruising across it one row at a time. It just seems that it's not um, sorting out the strings and trying to, concentrate on a new area all the time just takes a little bit more time away from actually getting stuff done. So yeah. Ooh, Charity, that sounds awesome. Oh, and Charity, you're gonna love this. Tomorrow we are experimenting here we're gonna try some pan fried as well as some air fried dynamite. So, inspired from some Filipino friends of ours who introduced me to this wonderful hot pepper with cheese concoction. We've actually looked up the recipes, saw different ways of doing it, and we are going to do a little experiment tomorrow. So we'd probably do it to have done it today, except Saturdays I like to try to keep things a little bit low key because I have my live stream and I don't want to be like overly stressed for the day. And you would think that, a guy like me runs a well-oiled machine of a ship here, and nah. So today started out with, I, did my little exercise thing, and our helper came and said, she needed some me to fix something because she has an exercise bike in her room and the pedal fell off. So okay, I'll do that. And then next thing I know, there's I don't know, it just seemed like everything broke all on the same day. And so I've been a plumber, I've been mopping and cleaning, and just there's just been a ton of things unexpected today. I tried to do a little bit of laundry, and then that turned into a project and a half, and I don't know. It has been absolutely exhausting. So, cheers. I got the sippy glass out. Hmm. I feel like I earned it today. I really do. I really feel like um, it has just been so much stuff going on. Unreal. So yeah, now that I'm not having to add strings, um, it seems like I'm kind of picking up the pace a little bit. So that's pretty good. Oh, and when it came to the adding the strings before, so like you saw where I was like leaving the strings kind of hanging down, the row up here that I was working on, what I did was as I was making the row, I went over top of all 4 pieces of string because obviously you start out with 2, you add some, you got 2 more. Um, did the knot over them, and then the next row I dropped them into the back, and it worked out really good. It's yeah, I'm definitely probably going to use that method when it comes to adding string the next time. So um, I'll be sure to show you guys how it works and what to do. Yeah, no, no, I already drank my Coca-Colas earlier today. So now it's just straight scotch. No ice cubes, no nothing to. No strings in a bunch. No, no strings. And that's another thing about working to an area is really does help keep the strings from getting in a bunch. You've already sorted out, like as I'm working on this string right here, it's obviously not tangled with anything else. And it just keeping to one area kind of helps make sure that you don't get your strings in a bunch, which is huge, you know. When you every time you have to stop and sort out, little knots or tanglements, that's taking away from time of actually getting knots done. So yeah, finding a way of being productive, in a way that keeps you from having to do silly side work is awesome. Scotch is from Scotland and whiskey is from America. Scotch is a whiskey. It just happens to be Scottish.
There's also Irish whiskey. Without E.
Irish whiskey is without an E.
One is E, one is although the only Americans without E.
So apparently there's an Irish whiskey as well, so that's something. Amanda, hello. Queen Bee Crafts, that's cool. Yeah, try to keep your strings from getting in a bunch. That's the important part. So as you can see, so like because I brought in this line here allowed me to work out almost all of this square up here, right? So now I can, because this whole diamond is relatively done except for the outer part, I can bring this in, and these 5 pieces of string over here can go off to the side and no longer will be used in this row. So that's the important thing of what I'm trying to do, is to knock out areas at a time. So what I'll do next is I will complete the diamond down here, which will allow me to bring, once this diamond's completed, I can bring the long line up, and that will be 5 more strings completed. So it's a bit of jumping between the 2 areas, but just watch and I'll show you what happens. So we'll do it again. Oh, Disco strings always get in a bunch. Oh, yeah. So for people who don't have Daiso, which I imagine is a lot of people, Daiso is a $2 Japanese store that has lots of wonderful things, including embroidery floss. And something about the embroidery floss, what is the name of the method by using fire to make it shine? Mesmerized? Mercerizing your floss basically takes a flame and burns off all those little wildy bits that are going in all different directions, right? So if you looked under a microscope at a DMC floss, you would just see nice shiny string. Well, theirs isn't shiny and it hasn't been, treated with fire. So if you looked under a microscope, there'd be all these little teeny tiny hairs that seem to catch on everything, especially itself. And so when you go to lift up one string, you might get a couple more to come along with it. So whether you're kumihing it or you're trying to tie knots, it's just a little bit of an annoyance. So yeah, it's a thing. All right. So now we just finish out this lower diamond down here. And mind you, I can't close off this diamond down here until um, I get this area over here, and that's when that will actually close it. All right. But I can go all the way to the edge, and yeah. And at this point here too, because it is a bunch of colors that kind of run really close to each other, the way that I make sure that I'm on track is how many colors past the dark. The dark to the light is the really easiest ones to notice, right? So up here, it was the dark one and one light. So the next row down is the dark one and two light. And knowing that, when I come over to this side over here, where I could continue on down indefinitely, I know to stop this row at 2 past the dark one. So that's how I'm keeping things straight and not accidentally tying knots that I'm going to have to undo or that I will regret later. So it's kind of important, especially if you're doing a fade. Like a rainbow and stuff, like if I do use 6 colors of the rainbow, it's a whole lot easier. You know to stop at whatever color it is. But on the fade, it's just that little extra bit that you have to pay attention to because it's not as clear where you stop. Oh, speaking of slippery string, so there's a string that often, oh, Amanda, I go live weekly on same time on Saturdays every week. Um, I got this stuff. I'm sorry, my whatever ADHD brain is not letting me remember all the terms. What sinew? Is that am I saying that right? Sinew. So it's artificial sinew, I guess. I don't know. Anyways, got this stuff in, and I got it in different colors. And unfortunately, the orange is not very orange. It's kind of a neutrally whatever, so it doesn't really show up looking like an orange. But I decided I would play with it a little bit. It's like a waxed string, and it's ridiculously strong. This is what I use to sew up leather. Um, but yeah, I figured I'd try to make a bracelet out of it and see what it was like. And I tell you what, it's super, super slippery, but the wax and something about the string itself lets it hold a knot really well. So that wasn't too terribly difficult, but I'm not, it's really firm. It's really whatever. So I'm not sure I'm going to actually enjoy wearing it, but we'll see. I'm not, I haven't even decided whether or not I actually am going to wear it or not.
When after it's made, if you wash it, possibly even boil it.
Yeah, so Mandy over here is saying maybe if it's boiled that the wax would come out of it and it would turn into something better, which is that might be a thing, you know. And yeah, basically I need to play with it a bit and experiment and see kind of what to do with it. I'm just it's different and it's a little bit harder on the hands when it comes to actually tying the knots. So yeah, I guess I guess I'm kind of getting to be a wimp because I'm so used to, the ease or whatever of my string like this. So this was obviously that bracelet. I did not double up the strings at all. It's just 8 strands being knotted together. So yeah, I imagine you could. Um, Actually, I honestly think yeah, I think it would be a possibility. I'm not sure what you would make out of it per se, but yeah, the knots and stuff um would certainly hold. I could see that. So yeah, Mandy does like pretty much all my kumis, and yeah, it's not it's I tell you what, minute. If you come over, I'll hook you up with some of it, and you can try it out for yourself and see what you can make of it. Um, it's interesting. It's interesting in the sense that it feels different from any other string that I've ever used. So that should be enticing because it's just different. Um, Honestly, because I quit smoking, I don't have a lighter in here. I have actually wondered that same question, um, but I'm not sure. I don't know if it melts. It feels like it should, like just the feel of it, but that might just be a wax coating on it. So I don't honestly know. Do you have your phone? You could maybe Google to see if it's meltable. I don't honestly know. Yeah, the problems of quitting smoking, you don't have a lighter on you, you know. Go figure. I'm kind of okay with that though. That's if that's the worst thing that can come from not smoking, yeah, I'll take it. It it was a hard habit to break, so yeah.
And then the ending not not them.
Okay, so Mandy just took a look on the old Google, and it says that yes, you can use a flame to melt the tips. So I haven't had a candle in a while. I used to have one of those long lighters. I think it died. So as you can see, okay, so I completed that diamond, and then I'm bringing in this row here that will end and close this whole diamond in, which means that I can go work on this upper diamond, which means I can first do the long row that closes that diamond in. So yeah. Well, actually, I know where one of them went. One of them got used and abused when we were doing steel wool photography until it until it ran out of fluids. So yeah. We used to light steel wool on fire for the purpose of photography. So yeah, good times. No, they weren't really. They were just. It was like a big lighter that has a long tube-like thing for where the fire actually comes out of, the end or whatever. It was, yeah. It wasn't torch-ish at all. It was just, it was the kind of thing you would use to light a candle. Yeah, yeah. I wish I could instantly just take images and like be able to subject them into the stream because the photography we were doing, yes, it sounds weird, but it was gorgeous. It was absolutely stunning. When you light steel wool on fire and you swing it around, sparks go off in different directions. If you leave the camera shutter open long enough, you can see these wonderful swirling patterns left from the sparks that were traveling through the air. So it's it was beautiful stuff. It was really fun, but unfortunately, I can't inject that into the chat. I'll work on that. I always looking for ways to improve, and that seems like something that maybe I can find a fix for it. Like maybe I can pull it up on the computer, then maybe get a desktop view or something. I did. Yeah, we sang that numerous times because of it. Let's see if I can try something. Is there an easy way to get into my stuff? Where's photos? I didn't see photos.
Yeah, a lot of files.
I think that one's ours. All right, so let's see if I can go and build that up and then. Oh, there we go. I actually can do it. Look at that. So this is a photo that I took, and yeah, that was I'd gotten a blister on my finger, so somebody else was actually twirling it around, and that's what it does. Neat. I was I have discovered a way of doing stuff. Um, but yeah, that was a pretty neat one. There's a whole bunch in there if you go into the group. Join it if you like. It's fun. It's a little random, it's a little whatever, but it was something we tried out. It started with a sparkler on a bit of string, and my friends thought that was pretty amazing, and they're like, "Oh, if you think that's cool, you should see this other stuff that people do." And before you know it, we were out doing that stuff. So yeah, it was pretty cool. Went to some pretty interesting low light places in Singapore, if you can believe it. There's actually a few places that's yeah. So yeah, it is similar to fire poi. So fire poi is a little gas soaked ball or whatever things, and where this is steel wool, but similarly it's flung around and makes interesting patterns or whatever. There's a photo in there somewhere where I mixed fire poi and the steel wool at the same time. So like in the streaks, you actually see these flames kind of spreading out, as well as the sparks, which I felt like that was my most successful, most amazing one. But yeah, not just all strings. Play with some other stuff too. Yeah, it did involve string that first time, unfortunately. So the first time we went and did it, we weren't really well prepared. We went to a store down in town to get the steel wool and to get a whisk, I guess you call it whisk, to do it with. But we needed something like a chain or string or something to put onto the whisk to be able to swing it around. And as we came out of the store, there happened to be some on the ground, some really heavy duty nylon stuff. So I just picked it up and went like, hell yeah, there we go. You know, we're set, we're ready to go. We went off to the site where we went to go do it at, which happened to be Fort Canning. And I must have gotten through about 4 or 5 shots when I went to town on this one, and sparks flying in all directions, and it started to hurt, like right in here. It was starting to, I could feel pain, and after it was finally done, which like 30 seconds of spinning, felt like an eternity. By the time I got done, there was like this huge blister area that like it made it like those water blisters and had popped, so it was just raw skin. And fortunately our friend happened to have some alcohol wipes and some bandages, and yes, I cried a little. It was so painful. That alcohol wipe, man, was like, oh my god, torture. And then yeah, so that was it for me for the night. And yeah, that's why that other shot was somebody else. Yeah, it was intensely painful. Like like nothing else. Oh my god. Well, I say like nothing else. It's like double prawn. You know, that's another one of those ones that'll, yeah. But yeah, if you're looking for the statue in the picture that I showed, that's up in Fort Canyon, and the statue was not harmed in any way. The sparks and stuff were shot over the top of it, and there was no, you know, damaging things. We were very cautious about what we did, and we were going out in a relatively rainier season, so the ground was wet and stuff. So yeah, it was. Yeah, I even had sessions where I got paid to do the steel wool thing for students in school. So yeah, it was pretty neat. Have a whole classroom full of children late at night at their school, and I'm just flinging sparks in all different kinds of ways and stuff while they all take photos and learn how it works and how to do it safely and stuff. So yeah, it was pretty neat. Yeah. Oh no, here we go. It must be about that time. We're gonna start talking food again. No, it was about the photography. Like we went um up to Mount Faber. Is that right? Am I saying it right? Mount Faber, Faber, and there was fireworks going on, one of the rehearsal days for the fireworks. So the kids got some interesting photos of fireworks, some long exposures and stuff. Got some of that, and then after that, we went and used light boxes to do some photography where it looked like there were butterflies and stuff added into the image. And then I was like the grand finale of amazing photos. So yeah, and needless to say, the kids were not disappointed. Grand finale was indeed grand. Um, so yeah, it was pretty exciting. The kids were loving it, and you could tell like some of the kids were like, "No, I'm gonna go up and get like an aerial shot of this, and I'm gonna go," because we're like in the parts of their school and stuff. So they were coming up with ideas. No, can you do it over here? Can you go upstairs and let them rain down? And like, yeah, it was a lot of fun, a lot of neat stuff. Chicken nuggets. Ooh. Ooh, that sounds yummy. I did. Yeah. It wasn't it I don't think it was just about the fire or whatever. It's about the fact that each time you spin this cord around, right? So picture lasso style swinging a rope at the end of it as a basket that's full of fire. Um, every time you spin it, you just get a little bit of sparks, a little bit of spark, a little bit of spark each time it goes around. So as you're watching it with your own eyes, it's like no big deal, right? You just saw a few sparks here or there. When you go and look at the picture that was made, it's all those layers on top of each other, and it makes it so that way there's just sparks in all directions, and suddenly it becomes something so much bigger than what you would have thought you would see when the picture develops. And that was the part that was really neat to show the kids. Like, I don't know, it was neat. So if you didn't notice, this particular diamond is in the row where everything is going backwards. So that's why it's a little bit stranger and a little bit more difficult. But that means I'm 1/3 across. Yeah, I'm still on the fence about like how well I like this row that's upside down, because part of me is like, it's cool because it's different and it catches your eye and it's a little bit weird and whatever. But another part of me is like, eh, it didn't really need to be done this way. It's not, I could have just kept everything the same and it would have been really cool as well. So I'm not, like I said, I'm kind of on the fence. I'm not convinced it's a bad thing. But I don't know. I guess when the whole thing is completely finished, it'll be kind of easier to evaluate, because at this point it's still kind of early on, I guess. I'm not even sure that's fair to say at this point. I mean, we're already halfway through. I mean, if you can't figure out what it's doing by the halfway point, I suppose that's a fail. So let's do some fun these things. Just because I don't want to leave it to the end of the video, I want to thank my Patreon supporters for making all of this possible. Even, as much as $5 a month can really change the kind of content that I can bring you, as far as products, things, like Mandy cams and and other stuff. So yeah, that's I really do appreciate it. And we do have the giveaway, which has also helped. That's another thing, the string isn't free, and obviously I buy a lot of it, but it has to come from somewhere, right? So yeah, but it's Patreon that helps make things like the secret word game possible. So yeah, all you gotta do is keep chatting, and maybe you hit the magic word, right Mandy? All right, man, you have a good night, get plenty of rest. Yeah, tomorrow's going to be an early one for me as well. We have a plumber coming over. One of our pipes in the kitchen decided to split. I don't know how this can even happen. It's a copper pipe. I would think that those things would last whatever, but it's got a little thing in there where it's just shooting water out. So that was one of the things working on today. I ended up having to pull rugs and cleaning and mopping and we thought maybe the water was backing up and causing an issue, and yeah, it was not fun. Not a fun day at all. But at least now we know what the problem is and know how to address it. And tomorrow a plumber will come over, and it's something that I could do. I just don't have the tools, and even if, let's say, I went out and I bought the tools for it, then I'd have to find a place to keep the tools that I might never need again in my whole stay in Singapore, right? Like it's so infrequent. I've done plumbing work in the past, but it's not something I do regularly, and not something I would want to necessarily take on as a full-time career or anything. So yeah, not better to just let somebody else do it. Ayo. So Mandy just informed me that basically not wanting to do it myself is a sign of me becoming Singaporean, to which I said, ayo. So yeah, go figure. Anyway. Yeah, our DIY stores essentially sell extension cords and yeah, really like hardly anything pertinent to actually doing things yourself. Like it's really a sad state. You have to, I have to, when I want tools, when I want, to actually fix things or whatever, I have to go where the professionals go because that's the stuff that I'm more used to seeing and using. So I've got like a couple spots around here that we go to, and it's always fun. Like the people have gotten kind of used to me coming there, and they're like, okay, so what do you need now? Yep, I'll need one of these, one of these. So that it's pretty cool. Oh, update on big project. Oh, how did I miss this earlier when trying to come up with all the things to talk about? So, um, I'm not sure what sparked the notion. Honestly, I don't remember where the thought originated from, but I started thinking about the big project, and I don't I don't like the idea of a sewing machine sewing the pockets that was going to hold it onto the board, because there's no easy way of hiding the string that's used on that's being sewn down, right? Um, and that's why I was going to do it by hand. Was I was going to hide each little stitch in between some knots and stuff. But just the notion of going all the way across just seemed so daunting. So um, I don't know. Again, I don't know what started it, but the idea of ironing on Velcro, the the soft side, the cottony wool kind of side, onto the project, because the cottony wool side means I could put the whole thing into the washing machine and nothing gets messed up. If you put the hook side to it, then when you put it through the washing machine, the hook side can rub with the fabric, and that might not work out so good. Might kind of get things kind of botched up. So I want to put the hook side onto the board and then iron on the the fluffy side onto the big project. So we just ordered the stuff through Amazon, and it's supposed to get here. When was it? Yeah, fifth of July, I think. That's kind of what Mandy's saying. It's fifth. So that sounds about right. Somewhere in July. Darn it! I got all excited and missed a knot over here. Um, but yeah, coming up soon. The big project is going to um, be added onto. So yeah, and I'm really kind of excited about the notion of how we're going to do this. So essentially, what I'm thinking is, I will attach the hook side to the board, and even anchor it down with some staples and stuff, and then put the other side onto the hooks, and then lay the big project over it, make sure everything is sitting exactly as needed, and then run the iron over it all, while it's actually on the board, sitting on like onto a table. And then I can take the big project off. Damn it. What's this part? Okay. Take the big project off, and then mount the board on the wall, and then put the big project onto the board. That's how the plan works so far. So that's it. It's pretty exciting. I'm really I'm really excited to actually get this thing mounted and visible, and can take photos with it. All that kind of good stuff. Yeah. I'm quite looking forward to it. The place where we're gonna put it for in this house is sort of living room slash dining area. There's a big table and stuff over there. Um, it'll be where it gets some sunlight, not completely directly on it. The windows are sort of frosted or whatever, but it's enough to help make sure that it doesn't get moldy, because our humidity thing is really like an issue here. And like I have a dartboard that has not been up in a month or more, because when I put it up on the wall, it just gets itself covered in mold. It's really bad. So yeah, trying to make sure that, well, that's why I wanted to make sure that it was machine washable, and that's why this whole idea kind of helps in that whole process. Supposedly the Velcro we're getting, it's like the real branded stuff, says that it's machine washable. So yeah. And the big project's already been through the washer once, so I don't have any worries about it. I just want this stuff to bond and become as one. Not sure. Might try to do some video while putting it together. I'm not sure how that's going to work. The funny thing is it's like, it's so easy to just do a thing, but as soon as you start to bring a camera and try to figure out how to capture doing a thing, suddenly everything becomes way complicated. Like, oh my god. Even just the cutting the string here, it just turned into this whole, well, do we do it this way? Is there enough lighting? Is there enough? It's troublesome. Another cool thing. So, kudos to people who stick around for all this. I got this thing. It's so cool. It's a chunk of metal. They say it's titanium. It could be steel. I wouldn't be able to tell the difference. How would I know? It came from China. But the object is that it's a fidget toy that is completely silent, and just moving it around between your fingers, like I can kind of get it to over by my pinky, but then I have a hard time getting it back. The increasing your dexterity is something that I've noticed is really kind of helping me when it comes to tying my knots. That just having a little something to break up the normal, what I'm always doing with my hands, somehow is making my fingers feel really a whole lot better about what I do. Yeah, filming takes a lot of dedication. Even just putting on a stream like this, like there, if you knew how many different, like having the subscribe buttons and all these things, all the hardware and software and things that go into it. Yeah, it's a bit of a challenge. It's a bit of a learning curve. And you know, like I only just realized that I can show off photos and things that I did kind of on the fly, which is pretty neat. Let's see if I can show you another image just for fun, because yeah, I was coming up with crazy stuff back then. There's me. Where's the bot? Where's Which one?
Yeah. The doorway. No.
Down.
That one from the bottom.
This one. Yeah, I said that one's me. I was looking for like the ones with like either the glasses, which I thought was really cool, or... Hang on, bear with me a second here. I will make it worth it. Give me a second. Um, or the one we were at the beach. That was a good one. Okay, these are me. That's me and Tim. That's me. That's also me.
That's pirate.
Can I pull this up a little? So this is the image where I mixed steel wool and fire poi. If you look at the rings, you can see the fire going on in there. There was like a, I forget what it was we soaked in the lighter fluid. But yeah, it's got flames, it's got sparks, it's got everything. It was pretty awesome. So yeah. And this is back when my website was actually a lot about my photography and stuff to show my son back in the States, you know. So that's why I had the big AKA wall on it. Pretty neato. Okay, so that's weird. It's like Rainbow made a comment, but then there's nothing there. Are you writing in invisible ink there, Rainbow? You know what? I honestly think most people never have seen it before. It's not all that popular. I don't even think we have that many members in a whole global site that's dedicated to it. Um, I used to advocate for a lot of changes in how it's recommended to do because most of the time people use the metal thing that you use for whipping up your eggs. And the problem with that is, and you can see it in other people's photos, is once the fire starts to get the wool is getting smaller and smaller as you go, and at the end it gets small enough to actually come flying out. So you have this super heated ember that just goes flying in any given direction. You have no control over it. And yeah, so we discovered that if you used a metal basket instead, like something that was made to sit on the side of the sink and hold your sponges and stuff, if you do that, then when it gets too small, the piece that comes out is so tiny that it's kind of like the rest of the sparks. It's a no deal breaker kind of thing. Because there was a lot of people just doing stuff that was potentially dangerous. So yeah, we did a lot to try to change the way that it was done and what was considered normal and what was considered acceptable or whatever. So yeah. It's one of those things where I came into it completely novice, no idea what I was doing. We even, one time okay, so we learned that using a sparkler is easier to light than the wool itself, and the sparkler will light the wool. So that was the thing. And then one time we couldn't find regular steel wool, so we ended up getting the kind that has the built-in soap. Oh my God. I lost a year of my life, I'm sure, from the smoke that I inhaled. That was the worst. Like, if they say cigarettes like shave 11 minutes per cigarette or something, like, no, this stuff shaved a year, like, for sure. It was terrible. But again, go into it, no clue. And by the time I was done, yeah, I wouldn't say an expert, but yeah, I got paid to show how I do it. So yeah, I guess, I mean, kind of expert, I guess. If you decide you're going to try it, Rainbow, just out of whatever, make sure that you have one of the clear, like how you put a filter over your camera lens. They have clear ones, or like a neutral density that's almost nothing to it over the lens, because if you play around with hot embers, you could actually, if it hits your camera lens, it can melt the glass. It's literally that hot. So, yeah, better to sacrifice a $15 lens covering whatever the clear things are than, you know, the expensive actual lens. So yeah, it's yeah, because you have a beach, like that's a great place to go and do this stuff, you know, down by the water and stuff. It just looks really, really super cool. Or if you go like where there's graffitis and stuff, it can be really fun. But yeah, the stuff is super hot. Like, now mind you, I did it once. There is an area where they have like a housing area where they actually cut out the walls to be able to use it for doing some kind of demonstrations and stuff for kids. So I stood in a room, like a regular room of a house, and spinning it, and it's spraying across the ceiling and coming down, and yeah, like across my head and down the back of my neck, just these little tiny hot bits of whatever. And yeah, it stung, but it didn't really leave a mark. There was no, you know, I wasn't blistering or anything. It's just little tiny whatever. But for a bit of glass, yeah, you would totally, in all your future photos, you would be like, yep, there it is. Yeah, yeah, exactly. That's the stuff right there. Yeah. No. No. But I do have to say though, I guess it was in my to an advantage to not have hair in that setting, because I can only imagine how that would have gone down if I had hair. It would have been bad. It would have been smelly. It would have been bad. So, we are almost to where I have to do the other one that's upside down. Starting to get to that point of the night where I'm starting to feel peckish again. And the sad part is, if I want to stay on my diet, I really shouldn't eat anything else. But I want something. I don't know what. What do you want? You want something? You used to have something lined up for snackies later, don't you? See? Might have to whip myself up a little something here later on. Need to figure out how to get Mandy Cam to not be so close. I have to figure out if there's a way of using a tripod or something. Well, I know I can set up a tripod. I have a nice tripod. That's not the issue. The issue is the camera's made to actually mount onto like a laptop or a monitor, and that's not exactly the sort of thing that works with your regular tripod. Don't you? I'm just happy that I got it sorted out that it actually works now. That's kind of cool. Oh, in case you're wondering, this orange that's coming out of here, it's really hard to trim this stuff down, but it is felt. And because these things are made out of steel and they were starting to rust, I have lined the inside with this felt that's sticky on one side and just normally felt like on the other. And yeah, it's making it so that way I'm not getting rusty material on my board or on my work. So yeah, kind of a little hack that I kind of really appreciate, because I didn't like having a nice new shiny white board getting all dark and rusty and gross. Yeah. And the stuff was cheap. Like we got it at Daiso, so there you go, $2. Yeah, I have to hand it to Mandy. Was the one that actually did that one, so kudos to her for coming up with that. Um, she was the one that actually spotted the stuff at Daiso and was like, "Hey, there we go. There's the stuff you can use." So yeah, it was hers. Not to say that I didn't do it before. Back in '88, a friend of mine was working for, I think it was like GM or Chrysler or whatever, one of the auto manufacturers, and they were dealing with like peeling apart this felt stuff to reveal the pieces that were used actually in the car. So like they have to make it easier for the person who actually has the job of applying it to the car and take off all the excess of stuff. So there, in some of the pieces there was nice bits left over, and I used that on my clips. And I just did it because it was pretty, you know. But later on, turns out clips get rusty. Go figure. So yeah, kudos to my very smart wife. So yeah, this box is upside down. So, like I said, this isn't necessary. This wasn't something that, you know, I would definitely tell everybody you got to try it or whatever. It's just, I wanted to be kind of artsy about it and make it different, you know, imagining what a designer brand might have done. I have no idea. I would hate the thought of what I would have to do without Mandy. You should ask the 8-ball what I would do without Mandy. Might actually be. I like it. I like the fact that it's not definite. We, we need your computer to be just a smidge further away. What? Absolutely not. It seems to be really pondering your question now. uh, yeah, I think he I think you broke him. Okay, I am absolutely knackered. It has been one heck of a day already. Hopefully you guys have had some fun. Hopefully you enjoyed Bandicam. I'm really happy that I've actually got it under control now. Like I can actually bring it up and make it go away and bring it back. So that's pretty cool. I'm definitely digging that. I will be back next week with more of this project, and I'm not even sure what. Looking around, I don't have a calendar in front of me. Maybe not next week, maybe it'll be the week after it that we will have the updates on the big project. So that's something to look forward to. We'll see when that all happens. But yeah, thank you guys for hanging out with me. If you've watched in this long, wow, you guys are absolute troopers. So thank you. And again, thank you to all my Patreon supporters for making it possible. Yeah, this is what really keeps the channel going, guys. I don't make anything from my YouTube videos, so yep, it's this group that helps keep it going. So all right, well, I will try to get a lot done so I have a lot more insights to share with you guys. And yeah, as always, don't get your strings in a bunch.